Cork have a little bit more improvement left in them. I think last week their forward line in general didn't function. Their inside line in particular was kind of non-existent. One of their best players this year, Pat Horgan, wasn't in it at all. So, you know, Waterford, while they have probably momentum coming in, I think Cork have more improvement in them.
And Michael Cusson on from the start this time, he'll be a big threat.
Big threat is right. You know, he came on last week and, you know, turned the game in Cork's favour. Kind of stayed stationary at centre back when Michael Welch was kind of cleaning up. So, you know, a different threat today for Michael to deal with. But, you know, Cousins in himself is a ball winner. But will Cork play him or will they play him inside? Niall McCarthy is listed as centre forward. So, you know, it's going to be, who knows what's going to happen.
Cork or Waterford?
Obviously, my heart says Waterford. Obviously, I think if Waterford do, you know, I think if Waterford spread it out, they can win.
All right, that is the view from the sideline, Michael. Let's go back up to the studio.
All right, Claire McNamara, thanks very much. I understand there's going to be a 10-minute delay to the start of this game. We've just heard that a moment or two ago, so obviously the crowd of 12 or 15 that's here, there's a few more outside ready to get in as well. Tomas, just mentioning Michael Cusson there, as Cyril calls him, the Twin Towers himself, and Isaki, in from the start. I mean, if you were to take a sort of a basic view of the game, you think all you want to do is just kind of balloon that ball in and the two lads will put their hands up for it. But it's a little bit more complicated than that, obviously.
It is a bit more to that, Mike, and it's a huge game for Michael Cusson himself as an individual, right? Because he was involved with Cork football. He decided to maybe opt out of the Cork football scene to throw his hat in at the hurling ring. He's kind of had to wait for his chances on the starting 15. He's getting it tonight in the replay of a Munster final, right? So there's an awful lot of pressure on him himself individually coming into the game. I mean, there's no doubt, I mean, as you mentioned about the Twin Towers, that ball will be rained down on top of him. What I would like to see out of Michael Cusson is a little bit more aggression in his play, right? I mean, he's such a big man. I mean, they say he's the better finisher than Isaki. He has the better hurling ability than Isaki. But when you look at Isaki when he gets the ball in his hand, there's a little more devilment in Isaki. And I'd just love to see that Michael Cusson maybe will bring that to the table tonight. And if he does, he will certainly give Brick Walsh, if he's at centre forward or even at half forward, give that Waterford defence a bit of a hard time, certainly.
Cyril, delay in the start of the game. Teams have such precise preparations now these days. You know, they do everything, they have it timed out, and then suddenly they hear it's not on for another 10 minutes.
It does upset you, and as Gerard said, he was a manager later than we were, and like you have everything timed today, like it's precise. You have a time, the warm up is done, the team talk is done, physios, everything is out of the way, and you're ready to roll. And now, like in there, the Cork are having their team talk, and next thing, like I know the crowd is coming, but like they knew it was 7 o'clock. We begin to wonder, like, when is this thing going to stop? I know they can say health and safety, like, but the health and safety night, I don't think anyone's going up drunk from Thurles. Like, it's just someone is going to have to say somewhere, listen, if the game is due to start, it's going to have to start. You can prevent it with health and safety. But I think it's very unfair to the teams because they're ready to roll now. They're going to have to, like, you know, even in the scientific end of it, they're warmed up, ready to roll. Now they're going to have to cool down again and kind of do it all over again. It's not the right way to start a game.
And as well as that, Cyril, you know, it's dull enough out tonight.
Absolutely, yes.
And if the game goes to extra time, definitely they'll have to have the lights on, you know, to be the last time they want to have a game on the lights in Thurles, the snow got rid of it, the snow bent. So
there'll be no snow tonight.
There'll be no snow at least tonight.
This summer, anything could happen.
The big danger is of the rain coming tonight, you know, that's the big danger which could change the game completely as well. But, you know, it is, you know, when you are, your Cyril is right, when you are a manager there and you have your team, everything is planned down to the last minute, and it is very upsetting, but the best way to cope with it is say, listen, these things happen, don't let it upset you no matter what, continue on with your routine, repeat something if you have to do, and just ignore it completely. You know that in 10 minutes time the game is going to start.
And I presume there's no point in going back into the dressing room for 5 minutes or anything like that?
No, when you're out in the field, I think maybe just go back out again and kind of limber up again and get a few more touches in and maybe a bit of striking at point scoring and stuff like that as well, you know. So I think going back into the dressing room would defeat the purpose totally, you know. And I mean, it is disappointing for the players, certainly, you know, and we're probably seeing it too many times now and too often that there are delays. I think we had a Cork Tipperary match as well in Parky Creek.
I was just going to say that.
Didn't seem to affect the Cork performance that day, so hopefully the same.
Tomas has been very good.
I just thought I'd give it a touch on that one.
But you can actually see Tomas like going back into the routine with which they started. So really what they're doing is they're repeating the warm up again, or the striking part of it. So really it doesn't take that much of an effect, but it's something you could do without, especially when the game is on at night time.
Sure. Well, even the brass band here in Thurles are under a little bit of pressure. They're going to have to play another few tunes or play the ones they played earlier on over again or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Let's talk here about Noel Connors, the Waterford cornerback.
Well,
Marty mentioned it there a moment ago in his build-up and said he was certainly one of his players, or his choice of last week. He's having a good season.
Absolutely magnificent season. And you know, there were so many candidates last weekend for the man of the match, you know, and I suppose Brick Welsh and Noel Connors were the two in the Waterford defence. You know, he's come out of he was always flagged as going to be a great player. He's come out of 21 now. He's in much better shape now than he ever was before. I think that's the thing I noticed about him. When he was under 21, he was that bit chunky, and I always found that his pace was that bit short. But like, they've done a fantastic job with him. His pace is really good. He is very, very strong, brilliant on the ball, great at attacking the ball, and he closes down his man so quickly. The only way he got caught last week was when the ball came out here, just underneath his stand here. Fraggy Murphy outside. He had Fraggy Murphy outside him. Ben O'Connor slipped in behind him, and he wasn't fast enough to get back. And I would slightly disagree with Sel. I thought the time Yasaki was going through that he showed his inexperience, that he rushed a bit too fast at him. You know, he should have forced Yasaki to take those extra few steps by backing. You know, the rule for a cornerback that I used to always say is go back, don't charge into him too soon. He wants you to go into him.
Go back.
Exactly. Go back a few steps, and you force him to play the ball. But he's a brilliant player. He's a brilliant covering at both sides, can play both corners, and you know
he was on kind of, we'd say, arguably one of Cork's best forwards up to then in Patrick Horgan. So I mean, that puts more pressure on Patrick Horgan going into the game tonight, that he's come up against a guy like Noel Connors again. You know, and I mean, he's been fantastic. There's a terrier-like attitude with him when he gets the ball. He's mad to burst out of the defence with the clearances as well. You know, and I mean, you take the Zaki situation and stuff. I mean, again, I think it was just kind of his whole enthusiasm and his momentum got him in to get the shoulder and stuff like that as well.
You know what's going to be interesting as well? You know him, he's a great hurler, Shane O'Neill. I've seen this fella play wing back for UCC. Now I hope he's actually put out there today, so he's a brilliant cornerback, but as Tomas says, he's a very good hurler and couldn't get on this half back line. Now this guy to me could be kind of, say, young, kind of, he's not that young anymore. He could be challenged like Tommy Welch or JJ Delaney for wing back of the year. It'd be interesting if he gets out to see how he plays. Now I know it might be robbing Peter to pay Paul, but to me, like, this guy could play anywhere. He's a very, very good hurler.
He's a fantastic stick man, but you know, just going back to the cornerbacks again. It's easy for a cornerback to play well when the ball is coming in slowly. You know, Michael Dyden made that point last week, you know, about the ball coming in fast, and it's very true. If the ball comes really fast, the advantage is with the corner forward. But if the ball comes slowly, the advantage is with the back, because the wing back is coming back to cover as well. So if Cork have changed the game plan, as Tomas and everybody's encouraging him, and we're all agreed that they should. And if they get that ball into the traditional Cork style, much faster than a full forward line, then it could be a different scenario tonight.
Well, just if you have joined us late here on the programme and expect to see the Munster hurling final replay, you will, but it'll be in 10 minutes time, or hopefully not too much more before that. But as you can see, this is the scene outside the stadium at the moment. This is the queue for tickets. That's actually the third of Sarsfield side of the pitch outside. As you can see, still a large queue at 7 o'clock, which is the time this game is supposed to start.
A lot 10 minutes, Michael.
In fairness, you know, sometimes people come late, there's no doubt about that, but as well as that, you know, traffic, the officials out in the field there, obviously Dennis Walsh waiting for things to get underway, but it's the usual thing. Saturday evening traffic, you know, people have been shopping, it's not easy to get through. We've seen that, as you said, a few times down through the years, kind of, you know. But
I mean, it's the road network as well, right, Mike? Because even people were saying last weekend as well, right, or last Sunday coming up here, right, everybody thought they'd go on the motorway and stuff like that, and then they come to the Horse and Jockey junction, and everybody's getting off at the same side,
at the same time.
The tailback is from there and getting back into Thurles, where previous everybody was coming in through Holy Cross, or you know, coming in through back roads to get there as well, you know. So that probably has delayed it as well.
Another thing tonight, that's Brian Gavin is the referee.
Different
referee, fairly good, not too fussy. Be interesting tonight, fella, to see how Owen Caddick and marks John Milan. Now John slipped in there the last day, got 3 or 4 great points to play. Now Caddigan is a good competitor, and knowing him from college, he would be thinking all week, I hope Milan is in there. He would say to himself, I want him in there tonight, and I want to get my revenge, like put him, you know, to hurl him out the field, because you'd have to say the last day Milan got on top of him. As Gerard said earlier on, Milan was actually in there on his own, because Davy had everyone drawn out the field. He's probably going to do the same thing again.
That's what Waterford want to do, is isolate him inside there with Caddigan, right? I mean, if they start Mullumphey in corner forward, I expect Mullumphey to go way out the field as well, and try and take his corner back out there, right? I mean, the key for Cork is certainly, if that happens, let your corner back in position and maybe go out in front of Milan and actually stop that ball going in front of Milan.
But Tomas, would you feel last Sunday that what was a surprise to me was that Shane O'Sullivan and Richie Foley got the upper hand of Tom Kenny, and to a lesser extent Cathal Naughton. You know, Shane O'Sullivan wasn't one that was flagged as being a great player, but he has developed into a really, really good player. Great pace, great work rate, stayed up with Tom Kenny. Would you feel that there's a bit of a flaw now with Tom Kenny in the middle of the field, that he has lost some of the pace, which was his huge strength before?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt about